I hated Margot and Quentin's characters. Hello everybody, my name is Rabia and I am here with another book review. This time my book review is for Paper Towns by John Green. I read this book as part of my 52-week book challenge that I will display here. The theme for this week's book was a YA novel, and I thought what better than a John Green novel that I've wanted to read for ages and ages, so I decided to read Paper Towns. Now, I'll get straight into it. So Paper Towns is a book by John Green. You might be familiar with some of his other work, for example, Fault in Our Stars, Looking for Alaska, An Abundance of Catherines, etc, etc. He is the YA novelist. So I was really excited when I picked this book up. There's also a film based on this book, starring Cara Delevingne, so I wanted to read this book before I watched the film because I was just excited about all of it. Now here's the thing, I didn't really like the book. I will go into it in a lot more detail, but I'm just putting it out there. I was not a fan. It was a bit of a chore for me to finish this. Probably that's why it took me so long. And yeah, if I had to go back and choose another YA novel, knowing what I know now, I would have decided to read another one. So anyway, the book is written by the perspective of Quentin Jacobson. He's the main character. He has a neighbour called Margot Roth Spiegelman. I think that's how you pronounce it. And they have been neighbours for a long time. They used to be friends when they were younger, but then they just grew apart as they started high school, and their circles were just different as they grew up. So this story is about how one night Margot knocks on Quentin's, they call him Q in the book quite a lot. She knocks on Q's window and says, "Do you want to go on an adventure?" And he says yes. So they go on this night-long adventure. It's like this revenge mission because Margot's ex-boyfriend has cheated with her best friend, and it's like getting revenge on all the people that did her dirty. And then the next morning, Margot doesn't show up to school. And Quentin and his friends, so he has two best friends in this story. There's Ben, who is his best friend, and then there's Radar. And they're all just saying, "Oh, where's Margot?" And the story is about this mystery, this puzzle that is Margot. Who is she? Why did she go away? Is she even alive? What is happening? And Quentin just becomes obsessed with Margot, and he just wants to find her. So him and his friends go on what I can frankly just describe as a wild goose chase to find Margot and to find out more about who this mystery is. So that is the synopsis of this book. I'll now go into the pros and cons. So firstly, I'll go into the pros of this book. My first pro is I loved the concept. I think, you know, the mystery element is so fun. I want to know who Margot is. I am in there with them. I want to find out, you know, has she died? Has something happened to her? Has she run away? Has she been kidnapped? What's going on with her? So there's lots of questions that aren't answered until right at the end. So it's quite fun to play along with them and be on this journey with the characters. Another pro for me was Quentin's friends. His friends were written really well. So like I said, there was his best friend called Ben. Now Ben is this geeky but subtly cool guy who is actually dating quite a popular girl, and he's sort of evolving as a character. And then there's Radar, who is very clever. He has his parents have a thing which I won't spoil, but you know, his parents are a little bit strange, but he's very clever. He's quite aware of the world, he's quite knowledgeable, so he is a very good character, and he's quite helpful in this sort of search for Margot. So I loved the way the characters of the friends were written, but unfortunately my pros end there. Now I'll go into the cons. My first con, and this was a pretty big one, was I hated Margot and Quentin's characters. They were horrible. They were horrible. I think Quentin was better than Margot, but they really weren't great. I think for me, I'll go into Margot's character and why she bugged me. I think she was quite selfish, very selfish. I think she was self-absorbed, and she had this whole aura about her that I'm better than everyone else. All these kids go in school enjoying being teens. No, I'm above them and I'm an adult. It's like when children wear heels and they think they're an adult. That's the equivalent of what I thought of Margot, and honestly, it wasn't a good look. And then secondly, Quentin, he was great for me at the start when he was playing along, you know. Oh, also, one last thing about Margot, I think she was manipulative as well. She didn't need to drag Quentin on this goose chase with her, this revenge mission, but she just needed someone to drive her about. So it's quite manipulative the way that she brought him in. And then moving on to Quentin's character, he started off fine for me. He was just this lovable teen, kind of handsome, but not really cool. And he had his small group of friends that he stuck with, and that was about it. But then his obsession with Margot was stressful. He forgot all about his friends. You know, his best friend got a girlfriend and he didn't really ask. It just annoyed him that he got a girlfriend and Margot wasn't being thought about. His other friend, Radar, he got a girlfriend as well, and he didn't even ask Radar how his relationship was going. He was very, very absorbed into his version of Margot, and I think that was quite an ugly trait. I think if Quentin hadn't been that absorbed into Margot, and if he hadn't been that obsessed with Margot, he would have been quite a good character for me. But the fact that he forgot all of his friends, he only contacted them when he wanted their help, was really quite an ugly look for me, and I think that ruined it. So the two main characters just didn't do it for me. The second con for me was the book was just that little bit too long. It was about 50 pages too long for me. I think the beginning, the mission, was a tiny bit long but bearable. I enjoyed all of that. It was quite dramatic, and it's quite a nice opening because, you know, you get to see who Margot is, you get to see what kind of person Quentin is, and then how they evolve or don't evolve, and that was fine. The ending was a bit too short for me. I just think it just ended quite abruptly. And then the middle just felt like it was 2 years long. I just could not understand why this just had to be so long. And then some of the clues they were looking into were so far-fetched for me that I just started switching off. I think it transcended me. It transcended my intelligence, the clues, because I didn't enjoy it. I stopped following after a little while. So that was one thing that I think it could have, if it was just that little bit shorter, I might have been able to gel more with the characters. But I think because we got too much of the characters, I just didn't enjoy it at all. And at one point I stopped caring about the mystery because I was just so frustrated with the main characters. And then the final con I have for this is, without spoiling anything, without going into spoilers, as this is a spoiler-free review, I just found the ending so anticlimactic. I think I had built up so much, and because I've been reading it for a while, I'd just built up that this ending is going to be life-changing, and it will make up for these not so great sort of pair of characters. And it was just so anticlimactic. And I think that really let me down. I've only recently finished it, and like I said, was just looking forward to the ending so much because I thought it tied everything together. You can tell with the way it's written, and you can tell with the wording and everything that John Green was going for a message, but it went whoosh, straight over my head. I just didn't get it. I didn't enjoy it, and frankly, it just felt unfinished for me. So I'll be rating this book 3 stars on Goodreads. It's a 2.5 for me, but I'll rate up rather than rate down. I do like YA, but as I'm not the target audience anymore, it does sort of go over my head a little bit more than it would have a couple of years ago. So I think that might be one reason why I didn't enjoy it as much now. Had I read it maybe 7-8 years ago, I might have enjoyed it a lot more and understood it a lot more. But saying that, if it is on your list and you have wanted to read it and haven't had the chance to, definitely go read it. It might be something that wasn't for me, but it might be for you. I'm just one person, I'm just one opinion, so definitely, if it's on your list, don't be put off by me and give it a read. Let me know. Feel free to comment below or connect with me on Goodreads and we can have a chat about it. But yeah, that was me. That's my review for Paper Towns. For next week's book, I will be reading a book by a New York Times bestseller. I'm not sure which one I'll be reading. If you guys do have any suggestions, please get in touch with me. But until then, have a lovely day, take care and stay safe. I'll see you soon. Bye.